Welcome back, folks, to the Mailwright Show. This is episode 247. It's going to be an internal discussion between me and my great co-host, Robert Newman, and we're going to be discussing tools, services, products that can help you get more quality leads or just help you in your online marketing and make it effective. I think I'm buzzed. I think we've had a pre-show discussion. We've outlined a host of tools. I think it's going to be a great discussion. Robert, can you introduce yourself to the new listeners and viewers?
So today I'm going to do the opposite of what I've done most of the shows. So a lot of times I barely introduce myself. So today, John, if you don't mind, I'm going to do a longer preamble.
Yeah, sure.
So I'm a 13-year veteran of the real estate marketing industry. I am probably one of the better guys in the country that you could talk to that's focused on SEO, or what is commonly referred to as inbound marketing, for real estate, residential real estate specifically, though I've done a lot of mortgage and a lot of other real estate as well. So to learn more about me or how to do SEO or services, I do a lot of really deep dive reviews on people that make websites and have other marketing companies, mostly just because I have the background. I started off working for these companies and then started my own 5 years ago. So I have more history than almost anybody I know. So that's why I review other companies, is so that you understand from the eyes of an expert what I think about those services. And you can find all that out at inboundrem.com. So thank you very much for letting me have a longer preamble, John.
That's all right. And I'm the founder of Mailwright. We've been going for the past 3 years. We've morphed from a pure just email marketing company with a focus of real estate into a CRM lead generation company that uses the power of Facebook and a lot of internal technology. You can see the key things on the Mailwright website. It's a fantastic product. If you're interested in coming on board, go to the Mailwright website. You can book a free demo, and it'll be me that will show you the demo, how the system works. And we're looking for agents right now to come on board. So, Robert, let's start it off. Let's get into the value. Which tool should we look at first?
Well, actually, John, before we get started, I'd like to just cover all the categories. So for the people that are listening to the show today and are kind of curious, because tools is a broad category. So what are we going to be talking about, like specifically? So we're going to be talking about a lead routing tool. Okay, so if anybody has multiple lead sources and is having trouble, we're going to talk about a tool about how to help you. If anybody has a large amount of leads and they're having a hard time calling them or keeping up with them, we're going to be talking about an ISA service that we've heard of. We haven't experimented with it, but we think it might be good. We're going to be talking about a mailer tool, which I'm going to let John cover because he's more familiar with it. But we're going to talk about not one, but two email tools today. Mine is on the AI front, and his is more on the, you can do these really cool things with this email tool. And then we're also going to talk about a tool that's called a lead magnet tool for those of you that own a WordPress website. So that's the list of tools, and it will deliver. It's something that I use all the time for my clients, and it's really cool. They allow you to do what's called a content magnet. I'll explain what that is, but just trust me, at the start of the show, it's cool. So
we're probably going to have an interesting discussion about that, because I probably got some different views about that particular tool than Robert.
Sure.
But there we go. So where we're going to start off?
Let's start with the email, because we got two email services to talk about. Everybody emails, so why don't we start with email?
Well, I'm going to start off with a program that offers a really fantastic free level. And it's a product called MailerLite. And don't worry, if you go, there'll be a full show notes on the Mailwright website with all the links to these tools. So don't scrabble your pen and paper. You just go to the Mailwright website, episode 247, and it will be there, listeners and viewers. Now, MailerLite, they're, I think I'm right, they're a French-based company, but don't hold that against them. And what they offer is a fantastic email sending service. And the free service is you can have 1,000 subscribers and you can send out 12,000 email per month. And then unlike some other services like MailChimp, which has a very drastic cutoff from their free level to their paid level. If you go over 1,000 subscribers, the next level up, which covers over 2,500 subscribers, still would only cost you $15 a month. So, and that would cover a lot of people for the first 18 months. Obviously, you should be your biggest thing in the start to the first couple of years of your career is to build up your database, your email list as big as you can. But this even up to 10,000 plus, it only goes up to $50. But for the first 18 months, this will either the free plan or just the $15 plan will probably suffice. And not only does it offer the ability of drip campaigns, and what a drip campaign is when you get somebody coming to your website. They also offer a full plugin that works with WordPress. So it integrates with WordPress very easily. And there's other page building and other products that work with MailerLite really easily. So that's the other attraction. But they go to your website and either you're showing them an IDX page or a lead magnet, but you want to get their email name and email into your database and then send them a series of drip email over a period of time, or put them on a monthly newsletter, or you can do both. The others, and it's got a really slick interface. They've been around a number of years, and the main thing is they haven't changed the parameters of their free program. They've kept it the same for over 4 years. So I don't think they're going to change things anytime soon, which you can't say about other email providers. The other thing they also provide is they provide really a slick landing page functionality. So you got a lead magnet, you want to drive people to a specific page on your website by using Facebook or Google AdWords, and you want them to go to a landing page. They provide a host of templates, and some of those templates are specifically designed for the real estate industry, and they're very nice ones as well, very well designed. But the actual landing page builder is very slick and pretty easy to use, and it's much better than lead pages or ClickFunnels or some of the very expensive pro level landing building products out there. I actually think these people's landing page editor is actually easier and more slicker than a lot of paid systems. And it's definitely, but I've got to be a little bit careful here. It was about over a year ago when I was using MailChimp's landing page editor, and it was still beta, so they might have moved on, but it was very rough on the edges, very difficult to use, and the help documentation wasn't that great. Where if you're new to this, MailerLite provide a load of really great help documentation and videos, and I think anybody that's got any computer skills could have a go at this, Robert.
Lovely. I'm excited to check it out. I've never looked at it. I'm actually I'm going to add a little one onto the list that I didn't actually pre-talk to you about, but it is a product that is done by the same company that does one of the, and I just remembered it. So The one that I want to talk about today, guys, is Robly. And I think that we're going to divide our advice up into two categories. I think John just explained how MailerLite is probably really great for those of you who are beginning and maybe are trying to figure out how to do landing pages. That's the way that it kind of felt to me. Now, I have a recommendation for those of you that have an established list, are already sending out a newsletter, and are interested in more of your own list reading your current newsletter, because that's my situation. So I have 3,000 or 4,000 realtors that are subscribed to me, and I send out emails. Now, typically speaking, my open rate for my emails has been about 20%, which is pretty good. That's 3 or 4% higher than what is average in my.
You want a quick tip about helping you increase that?
Well, I've got it increased, but go ahead.
Well, one factor that a lot of people forget, and I'm as bad as, but I've been doing it more religiously, is, people move companies, they move jobs, and a lot of the email that they will give you is work related. So any list, you're going to get bounce emails. Now, what you must not allow is you must keep the bounce email ratio as low as possible, because it's a key thing that Google looks at. Is that one of the key factors that Google looks at when it comes to your email actually ending up in the inbox rather than ending up either in the junk folder or the marketing folder. Mm-hmm. So you really, when you have a temporary, what they call a temporary bounce email, and then you have an email that's consistently bouncing, what I would advise you to do, any email that's bounced for 3 months, 90 days, remove it from your list. Just get rid of it and keep the bounce rate as low as possible on your emails that you're sending out.
Got you. Or listen, for a long time, I've used most of the services that are out there. Like, I've bounced around between free mail servers for a long time, and I've never seen anything new, and I've never seen anything different. I've used Constant Contact. I've used MailChimp. I've used Keep, which is a company that Neil Patel owns. And honestly, I would have thought that all those guys would be doing email better than anybody else. It was an off chance that I tried a product called Get Emails, and in the product which has turned into probably one of the best marketing decisions I've ever made. There's another product that the same team builds called Robly. Now, Robly is an email delivery service, but these guys are doing email better than anybody I've ever even heard about, let alone worked with. So what Robly does is, on the surface, it looks like any other email provider, but they have 2 clickable elements that on the back end of their email service. So you send out an email, you build the templates. It's probably not as easy as MailerLite to build the templates, though it is drag and drop. It's as easy as MailChimp for those of you who've used it. But what they do have that's very different is they have 2 additional services called Robly AI and OpenGen. And essentially what they've done is they somehow built an AI that relates to your particular IP address. You can calculate when somebody on average opens an email. A signal is sent when somebody is opening their emails. And they calculate that inside their AI, and they analyze your IP address in your email inbox. And so what they start to do is deliver emails at the very moment that particular user is actually opening emails. And what has happened for me, my case study, is that my open rate is up by, holy shit, double, like at least. Like the amount of extra opens that I'm getting is retarded. I'm sorry, that's a horrible word to use.
It is horrible, isn't it?
But it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
You think I'm retarded, Robert?
I am.
Do you think I am?
Oh God, no.
So hope for me.
I would never call another human, like considering the age we live in. That's a generational thing where we used to say that when I was younger, and I stupidly put it in my language every now and again, but I shouldn't. So that's this Robly service has changed the results that I'm getting in a very significant way. Another thing that it does, John, is it manages your list for you. It automatically takes out the bounces and
that's great.
Some of the people that are not opening, and they specifically tell you what you just said. They actually have in their notes, and they said, hey, if somebody's inactive on your list, we're going to send them emails for 90 days, and then we're going to automatically remove them. So when you upload your list, you have to understand that Robly is going to focus on the people that are actually engaged. However, if you're using OpenGen and AI, they're doing a lot more to try to get to the people on your list than any other email service that I've done in a non-obnoxious way. It's not like one of their services, OpenGen.
So I've got some questions.
Yeah.
First of all, how much is it? Secondly, what stage of agent do you think it's most suitable to use this service for? And put the link into chat so I've got it available, Robert.
Sure, I will put the link in. So the pricing, which is one of my favorite things about Robly, is actually just about the same as everybody else, but I'll tell you what it is so that everybody knows. It might be a little more expensive than some of the low price services, but not that much. So here's what the price is, guys. 500 contacts is $19 a month. 501 to 2,500 is $35. 2,500 to 5,000 is $58. And 5,000 above is 92. And it can get as high. I mean, if you have hundreds of thousands of contacts, which nobody that we're doing business with does, because, well, most of them don't, it can get up to $1,000 or $2,000 a month. The Robly AI and the Robly Engage and the OpenGen, all these tools that I'm telling about are included. There is no additional charge for any of it. So all the things that
sounds very reasonable to me.
Yeah. So all the things that I'm mentioning, I might actually be spending less with Robly than I was with MailChimp. I haven't really done the math, and it's not that important to me because they're delivering 200 or 300% better results. So I don't really they could charge me 200 or 300% more if they wanted to, and I'd be quite good with that. But they're not. So it turns into a hell of a deal. So I've gotten, just off this last send, I'm looking at it right now. I had an additional 24% of my list open off Robly AI. See, the initial open, John, hasn't changed. I still get a 20% average open rate on the first send. But with the AI and OpenGen, I end up getting, I think this time around it was an additional 20%, literally double the penetration on my last email. So for me, that is amazing. And I think it would be amazing for everybody else as well. And the agent, to answer your question, that I think that we're aiming this at. So I think that maybe about 1 out of every 50 of you or so are probably very established agents that have been sending emails to your clients for a long time. And if that is you, this is the tool for you. If you already have an email list, you're already doing a newsletter, you occasionally even write it yourself, and you're not using a service of some kind, this is what you want to be looking at, is Robly, in my opinion.
I think it's going to go for our break in a second, but I think it's we've got 2 products that really, so you start off on maybe something like MailerLite, and then when you're starting building up your list and you're getting some results, look at Robly, because it's like most things, there's different products at different stages of your career or where you are business-wise, isn't there, Robert?
Yeah, there is.
So we're going to go for a break. We've got a number of other tools that should help you out. It's going to be a great show. We'll be back in a few moments, folks. We were going to discuss, we've only got to the MailRite thing, the mail services, but it was a fascinating discussion. On to the next category. What's that going to be?
Well, one other thing that is email related. So I rarely reveal any of my personal marketing secrets, like things that I actually use, because sometimes it gets very competitive. I'm going to give everybody one today. It's a free bonus. If you stayed in for after the break, you're in for a treat. I've been test marketing a service called Get Emails, and there's no other service like this. So the same team that did Roguely is doing something called Get Emails. Now it's complicated, and we could spend the whole show talking about it. But what I will tell you is that legitimately, without breaking any rules, what they are doing is they're capturing email addresses of people that come and visit your website. In the very short amount of time that I've been doing business with them, I've managed to capture an additional 800 to 1,000 subscribers, and I'm not having to use those annoying pop-ups and getting them to subscribe. They're basically people that already came to my website and read my content. I add them to my normal mailing list, which for me does not sell anything. And I then send out the emails, but I've already had results from it. I've already had people respond, and they opted in. Basically, there's certain big companies like the Times that when you opt into them, you're giving them the permission for them and their partners to email you. It says it's clearly, and that's how good Get Emails operates. They can see all the IP addresses, they can connect it into people who've opted in, and then they grab that email address and they send it off to you. I'm getting 20 to 30 new subscribers every day right now off my website. Get Emails, and I'm doing it for about $100 a month, which makes it one of the best deals of any marketing that I've ever done, in my opinion, ever. So Get Emails is something, because it's cheap. I'm capturing users. I mean, I've spent as much as $500 a month capturing subscribers on my own website. So this is pittance in comparison to that. So Get Emails is that tip. And I will probably be doing a blog post on it on my site, because I will probably be becoming an affiliate for them and literally remarketing their services. That's how good I think they are, and that's how good the experience has been for me so far. But let's move on. So to other categories. So we're going to talk briefly about one of the cheapest tools on the list, except for MailerLite, which is, as John mentioned, is a free tool. We have a really inexpensive recommendation for a tool that could be a game changer for a larger agent or a medium-sized like personal agent.
Power team.
Called 5 Street. Okay, for some of you out there, you already know what 5 Street is. So 5 Street is a lead routing service. It takes all the places that you might be getting leads, and then it creates a virtual lead pond, which some of you would know from Sync and other big tools like that you might have used, like KV Core. A lead pond is just a fancy way of saying that all your leads get dumped into a single database, and normally a real estate agent can jump into that pond and grab whatever leads are available and start to work them. That's how big brokerages work. For some of you, you're going to be like, oh, and I've never heard of that. I wish I had that. And for others of you, you're like, oh yeah, I know lead ponds. So 5 Street takes it a step further. And what they do is every time something hits the lead pond, they text all the agents on a round robin and basically say, this lead just got into the lead pond and you should call it. And they do that with every single agent and every single lead every single time it comes in. And there's obviously rules, and you can set up like how the leads are getting distributed or how the texts are going out. But it's only $20 a month. And I've got a few brokers that are using it, and they're swearing by it because it's a fast, cheap, easy way to get the message out to all of your agents that there are leads. And as a broker, you can log into 5 Street and see what leads have been claimed. So actually it simplifies the lead distribution process. And once again, it's super cheap. It's $20 a month. So there's that.
Sounds fantastic. You know, any kind of power couple, power team, 4 agents with a assistant that's doing also supervising the online marketing, anything like that. Sounds a superb product, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm certainly excited by it.
They've been established for quite a while, and they've got a good reputation as well, haven't they?
They do, because they're partnered with Zillow and Trulia. So 5 Street, while you may not have heard of them, they are partnered with the biggest marketing agencies out there. And they got immediately partnered with them because they are a very necessary service if you're doing over 30 or 40 leads from more than one source. At that point, 5 Street or something like it becomes a necessity. The last, or not the last tool, but another tool, once again in the same category, this is power team agent, like somebody who's got a small team. This is almost for sure going to be either you're an individual agent who already has your marketing game dialed in. I'm not sure why you'd be listening to our show, but it's possible that you would be. And you want to kind of take your business to the next level and stop chasing leads and just deal with customers. This service is for you. It's called Agent Assistance. And what it is it's a strong ISA service that is also inexpensive for what they do. So for about $10 a lead, that's roughly what they cost. They will chase down your leads for you. They will text them and they will call them and will get them on the phone for you. And when they do get them on the phone,
but we got to. Oh, well, I feel we got to clarify this word lead. What we mean, there's a big difference between what MailRight, any of the online lead generation systems can generate. They are what it's showing you, MailRight or Bold Leads or Real Geeks or any of those systems. They're showing you interest. That's all they can show. What these people are doing is they're going to those people that have put their virtual hand up, saying by going to your IDX website, going to one of Robert's fantastic custom IDX websites and doing so and giving you their contact details, the people are just putting their hand up, their virtual hand up, in like in a classroom. But what these people are doing, they're taking a lot of the donkey work out by then approaching these people that put their hand up and seeing if they could be an actual real lead that week, that month. Have I explained that quite well, Robert?
Yeah, well enough, I suppose. Dave, it's pretty simple, guys. Like if you're using Ylopo or you've decided to do PPC into one of the websites that I built, or you've used John's service to do Facebook type leads and then have a system managing them. In all three of those categories, you're going to get a different quality of lead. But regardless, anytime you start getting over 10 names and numbers per month, it turns into you have to set aside two or so hours a day to call those leads. And if you're getting 40 or 50, you now have to set aside 3-4 hours a day, every day, to call the people. And John and I have talked about this incessantly. You've got to have a CRM. You've got to do this. You've got to do that. Agent Assistance is a service that takes that away from you. You can just literally have the leads come in, have a service like 5 Street distribute them to your agents, and then another service like Agent Assistance get on top of that, and then call the leads for you. And now your entire team is getting hot transfers every single day, or you're getting hot transfers every single day. No longer do you have to sit in the office. You can drive around and do what you love to do, which is sell real estate. John and I have both heard this 1,000 times. Every single agent we ever talk to says, oh God, I wish I didn't have to deal with this digital marketing stuff so that I could just sell real estate. That's all I really want to do. Well, Agent Assistance is definitely one of the few recommendations as far as tools are concerned, beyond getting leads, where John and I can sit here and go, you know what? I think that gets you a lot closer to that goal. You might miss some stuff. So it's probably not for a brand new agent. I wouldn't say like Agent Assistance is something that somebody brand new wants to do, because you want to maximize your opportunity.
How many houses per month? 3 to 4 houses a month. And then I think you can, with using something like MailRight or if you're buying into one of your custom websites, you then should be looking at this, because it's just going to put the whole thing on steroids, isn't it?
Yeah. And I don't have a ton of recommendations from this, but I do have one of my top brokers who is using it and is swearing by it. He's been using it for a while. He says they do a pretty good job. They obviously don't do quite as good of a job as he would do if he was on the phone, but he's getting plenty of live transfers. And since he wasn't managing his current lead flow correctly in the first place, this is deeply impacting his productivity in a positive way. So if you've got a team of agents and you know that they're missing calls, that they're not making calls, at the point that you're at there, Yes, get an ISA team that's going to call them until they get them on the phone, because that is going to serve you and your entire team much, much better than trying to get everybody to be telemarketers and chase these leads down. So Agent Assistant should be, for one of it, like for some of you, this should be the recommendation you've been waiting for. And then last but not least, we're going to, I think, probably wrap up the show and wrap up our recommendations with something that John opened up and said, hey, I think we're going to have a different opinion about this, which is Thrive Themes. Okay. Do you want, so Thrive Themes makes a ton of what are called plugins for WordPress. Yeah. All right. That's a piece of functionality that's added on top of your website, like the thing that builds your website or the content management system. And I like a couple of their plugins. I do not use all of the Thrive Themes packages. I only use one or two. And the main one that I use is one that is what's called a content magnet. I use their content magnet plugin, which is, you could find other plugins like from Lead Pages that do the same thing. I happen to like the Thrive Themes one because it's cheaper and it works just as well. So if you're a content marketer, that's somebody who's getting people to your site with the blog, and what you want to do is you want to capture a lead because you have a good blog post. But in order to capture a lead, you know that you probably have to offer something to get people to sign up with your site. At that point, you might offer a list of 500 things that somebody could do to improve their home, as an example. And what you want is you want that process to be automated. A tool that will send them the list automatically once they sign up your pop-up form that says, I have this amazing list, sign up for the form. That's what a content magnet is. And that's what Thrive Themes does. And that's what I use it for. And that's why I wanted to add it to today's list. So hit me with what your thoughts are, John.
Well, I know Shane. I wouldn't say he's a friend, but he's been on my other podcast a couple of times. Shane, the CEO of Thrive Themes, is a fantastic marketer. I actually always listen to always read his blog posts, and he does a series of videos every month. So, and he really knows. The only thing I'll say about Thrive Themes is that their page builder, which is called Architect, until recently was falling behind some of the leading competition, especially Elementor. It was really falling behind, and another one called Breezy. They've improved the situation. When it comes to the actual lead magnet plugin, yes. My only thing I would say is that some of the actual designs that they provide are a bit clunky, a bit old-fashioned, and I would say that also with their the websites that they provide whole kind of set of pages. So with one click, you can literally build a outline of a whole website, and that's with Architect. The only problem is that I find the designs themselves a little bit out of date. The thing I use is I use a product that does a similar thing, and it's called Convertkit, and it comes from a company called Astra Themes, and I use it on. I'm going to be using it on the MailRite site in the near future, but also I use it on my other website, WP Tonic, and it does the equivalent thing. The only thing you find with Thrive Themes is, yes, it's built on WordPress, but they literally built their own ecosystem where they make sure that their plugins and their themes work in their little side area, but they don't integrate with other plugins in the WordPress ecosystem so easily as some other products. But what I would say is that Shane, as an online marketer and as a CEO, is one of the most vulnerable people that I've interviewed, and I would always listen what he had to say.
Lovely. Well, There you
Right, I
go.
think we come to the end of this podcast. I think we make sure that it's all in the show notes. We're probably going to be having an internal discussion next week, but then hopefully I'll be able to get some other great guests on. But I think it's been a fantastic discussion anyway, Robert. What do you think?
I really do. I think I mean, I know that when we start talking about tools, we're only talking to a very small percentage of you each time we make a recommendation. John and I took a lot of time today, 20 minutes, to try to come up with a list that would speak to all of you in some way or another. And so hopefully we managed to do that. And if you have any questions, especially about get emails, set up an appointment with the get email, set up an appointment with me. If you have questions about MailerLite, set up an appointment with John. We each have different levels of experience with each one of these services. And I strongly recommend doing a little bit of research if you're in that email part of your career. Like if you are already emailing or you think you want to get emailing, either talk to John about getting started or talk to me about the deeper part of your career.
Just to finish off, there's two things where you're going to find the commission checks: building personal relationships and in your database, you're in your email list. The money is in the personal relationships that you make in your community and in your email list. So if you want to be a successful real estate agent, you need to be building both. So I think we're going to call it a day. We'll be back next week, folks. See you soon. Bye.
Bye.